So the challenge we've set ourselves, guys, is that we're going to try at least a week with a dumbified phone.
That's day one.
This is day one. So modern smartphones have become this like dopamine slot machine, right? And it's becoming a problem. People are having a hard time to focus and to concentrate. Basically get control over the device instead of the device controlling them.
I must say, we're DHRME, dudes having rhythm and musical expertise, but we are looking at a couple of solutions today to the problem you just mentioned.
Yeah.
Let's start with yours.
Yeah. So that's what you see right here. The Light Phone 3. First time we're using one of their products. First off, hardware. Beautiful device. When this came in, I was like, wow, that's a nice slab of phone.
Yeah.
But a compact, small.
Nice and blocky.
Right?
Can stand on its own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I dig it because it's got this odd format, but it's still in a way very satisfying to look at, to use. It's got that grill on the front. You like that? You immediately you were like, hey.
Because my HTC days are coming back to me.
Yeah.
HTC One M6, I think. I'm not sure of the model number, but oh man, so pretty.
And the screen, it has an OLED screen, by the way.
Yeah.
It has this matte finish, which reminds me of my MacBook Pro.
Yeah.
It has that anti-glare screen, so very cool. Has a couple of buttons around. So up top, you have a power button. So very much iPhone, 5, 4, those models. It does double as a fingerprint scanner, but that one's not enabled yet. So that has to be released still. There's a little scroll wheel on the left side. I thought, cool, I could do like volume controls and stuff. No, it's for the brightness of the screen. And if you click it, you can turn on the flash, that kind of stuff. They are going to allow people to change that function in the future. So that's coming. And then on the right side, you have three smaller buttons. One of them, the one that's furthest out, is the camera button actually. So it's used, to open the camera, as well as it's a shutter button. And then the two smaller buttons are volume, up and down. And the middle one is what they call a menu button. So it just basically takes you to the menu. USB Type-C, pretty standard.
Wireless charging?
Don't think so. No, because it's metal back, I think.
Right.
And it would not actually fit into the whole concept of life being, buy something for life, it's a tool, but don't.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's also got a replaceable battery actually at the back.
All right, with the nice industrial screw design.
Right. That's the hardware a little bit. In terms of how you use it and you set it up, it's interesting. So you actually need a laptop or a computer because you need to go to their dashboard. And then over there, you can add different apps. But none of these apps are like, there's no Play Store. It's just a set of apps. You can choose to show some of them or you can choose to remove some of them. I just put everything there and try it out. And that's how you do everything. You configure stuff from there. So podcasts, for example, there's no app where you can just search for podcasts and add them from the phone. You have to do that from the dashboard and then it gets synced over. That sort of thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you get in the box?
You get the phone, you get a SIM card removal tool, and a braided USB Type-C to Type-C cable.
Keeping it basic.
Keeping it basic. Oh, and a nice metal case where the phone sits in. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Very camping vibe.
And what's the price of this in Europe actually?
So I think we only have the dollar price because it's only available from the US for now. Yeah. But it's $5.99 for pre-orders, but it is $7.99 as the original price. Yeah.
Ooh, that's
it ain't cheap.
That's pricey.
It ain't cheap for a bare bones phone.
I got a phone that's twice that.
Yeah.
And then I'm trying to do the same thing you're doing.
Yeah.
And basically it's essentially a launcher that I'm using, an O launcher.
Yeah.
So there's only a few apps I can access from the launcher. But if I go to YouTube, for example, I have this app, which is Zen Screen. And it says, are you sure you want to use YouTube?
So it gives you a moment.
It gives you a moment to be more mindful and conscious and intentional about your day.
Okay.
And then I can say unlock it for 5 minutes. And then, it unlocks and everything. And you can set that up to configure how long it is and things like that. Okay. And it's working really well for me. I also started working on my iPhone with the dumbified app, but it's too much work on the iPhone and it's too expensive. Everything is a paid app. All the apps I showed you just now on the Android are free. Yeah. They work perfectly.
Okay.
So that's a bit annoying.
Yeah, I mean, Apple's going to tell you how to use their phone.
Yeah.
No one else is going to.
But there's tons of videos out there, and give us a couple of weeks. We're going to do our best to investigate all options.
Figure it out.
And also come back with your experiences. But so you've started using this yesterday?
Yeah.
So this is just the initial impressions. We'll probably do a follow-up later.
Yeah. Got to say, I was pretty anxious taking out my SIM card and putting it in this.
Because you were anxious. I was anxious.
Like, how do I reach this guy? SMS, guys. That's the way you reach me. SMS and cellular calling. That is the only connectivity method that you have with such a phone. Which I will say right off the bat is tough, especially when you have people living abroad.
Yeah.
So I have family and friends living abroad. I cannot communicate with them until I'm at my laptop. Yeah.
Sucks. Yeah.
That sucks. So there's no WhatsApp, there's no Signal, none of that.
Yeah, it was also like a bit traumatic for me because I have to now check messages, which I never checked.
That's right.
Right? Like, and I have two phones with two numbers, which means on WhatsApp, you could reach me on both those phones in the same way. And now if you send a message to my iPhone, I've not checked it for 4 hours because I was on my Android phone.
Yeah. So connectivity is a big thing. The other is media consumption. I get that, and that's the philosophy of Lite as well with their Lite phone is no infinite scroll, nothing that, algorithmically, indeed, like
pushes you content. Watch this.
And tempts you and keeps you in the system. So there is music, but I have to download and put it on this. That's a feature I've not tried yet. We'll save that for the full review. I'm anxious about turning off my iPhone, but the reason I still have it is turned off, it's not on. And the reason I have it is there are a ton of things on this that I'm dependent on that are not there on the Lite phone. Stuff like two-factor authentication apps.
Oh, yeah.
Banking apps. I mean, these are critical stuff. I need it. I need to be able to pay for stuff and transfer things.
Yeah.
So,
although we did go to a supermarket and used a bank card.
Yes, I did.
You can also do.
Yeah. Which I didn't know the PIN codes of. So this morning I was like, okay, memorize the PIN codes for these debit cards. Everything's going through, mobile payments. I don't need to remember those codes anymore. So luckily I had them somewhere so I could take them. Also password managers, right? All my passwords are in my phone or on my laptop. So what I've noticed on day one already is that I'm carrying around my laptop around the house, different floors. And
light phone, heavy laptop.
Yeah. Even today, right, we're at our desks and then I went back to check my WhatsApp, my Signal, because none of those are on this again. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing to do on it. Like I was telling you, like I just gone to the toilet and you're waiting in the hallway and I come back and he's staring at a wall. I'm like, what's going on? He's like, I got nothing to do. I got nothing to do, yeah.
That's interesting though.
That's very interesting.
It might help you process your feelings or whatever much better because you have that downtime now.
Yeah. Another thing for the Lite phone right now, it only supports English. For the keyboard and everything. And we also talk in Dutch here. So then all of that is not, it's all mistakes and the autocorrects is all off. So hopefully they do release more language support in the future. And software-wise, right, this is running on Android, but a de-Googled version of Android. And so you're really limited to what Lite phone gives you in terms of apps.
Yeah.
And there are a couple of apps like podcasts, which gives me some entertainment. But apart from that, nothing. Play around with the calculator.
You can't even watch YouTube?
No.
How can you not watch YouTube?
I watch it on my laptop. Or on the projector at home.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have any of those problems at all.
No. You have access to all your apps, but what's your strategy?
So my strategy is, again, control. We spoke about it up front.
Yeah.
So I don't want apps that take away control from my life. So things like TikTok, YouTube less to an extent, but more the algo feeds.
Yeah, the infinite scroll.
I would say algorithmic feeds.
Okay.
Anything with an algorithm that tells me and tries to stimulate me and gives me the right rewards.
Yeah.
I have put those behind not a paywall, but a smart wall, let's say.
Yeah.
So those are limited, like you saw. YouTube was limited.
Okay.
X is limited. All of those things.
And I also saw that your home screen had limited apps, so you set those up.
Yeah, that is the O launcher. It's a minimalistic launcher.
Okay.
Also, no icons and stuff that makes it more appetizing to use.
Yeah.
So it's more black and white, and it just has a search function which works. I can use any app.
So speaking of black and white, that's actually a tip that a lot of people give. Put it into grayscale, and then you will be less enticed to use your phone.
Yeah.
Have you thought of?
No, never. Never gonna do that especially because of content and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm not quite going to the desktop for content
No.
situation as you.
Okay.
I'm also okay with using some social media, but I really want it to be dosed.
Okay.
But yeah, that's where I am. Let's see how it goes.
Okay.
So before we come to the end, just a big thanks to all our members and supporters, especially our tested tier supporters and these wonderful fuck one tier supporters, Rachel,
Brad's Panda,
and
Paula.
yes, thank you very much. But this is not the end of this journey. We're just starting out on it.
Yeah, it's just the beginning.
So I think we're gonna give it some more time.
Oh yeah, there are a ton of things to try out, right? There's directions on this phone. There is, photos and videos that we can take with it. We are content creators, so this is going to affect our lives. We are very much attached to our phones.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'd love to hear from you guys. What would you like us to test out? What would you want to see? And we can address that in the next video.
Yeah. And if you're in the future, the video is linked up here somewhere.
Yeah. And if you want to ask Light, the company behind the Light phone, something, let us know as well, because we will be speaking to them and we can bring that into our interview with them as well. Yeah.
Cool stuff. That's also linked up here somewhere.
Cool.
Okay, Dewey. Keeping it light.
All right. Yes.